And so this was our first time we ever did an A3. And we said, you know what, let's put it down. So what we did is we took the actual one in our little folder here, and we brought the same board here, and we listed everything out that we were having problems with, listing all 5 of our problems. And then as we went through, we actually went step by step by step into every process.
And after doing that, this spearheaded us into having what we call A3 calibration sessions.
Yes.
And so with those calibration sessions, we again listed out what the problem was, and then we thought, okay, now let's put it on paper. To help us with the A3 model is that we have partnered within our dynamic so that no individual feels like I have to do an A3 by myself. Mm-hmm. It is best to partner with outside functions, outside of what your team may do, for them to bring in that perspective. And what we're doing them in groups of 4 and 5.
Again, I just want to say we started with this. Through our sessions, we were able to come up with this. This was information that you'll see here. We kind of listed the owners of this, which of course were Sunitha and I, but we brought our lead in. We brought in, we asked the person who's actually having the trouble to help us with how to resolve this. And so when we brought in these people here, through our collaboration sessions, we actually found all of these issues here, which we said were our strategic background, what has happened, what do we know about this relationship and the office that we're working with.
And then, of course, we had to look at, knowing the background, what then was the current situation, what were we dealing with at the moment. And so that led us into, okay, we know the background, we know the current situation. All right, now what's the goal? What are we trying to attain to by having these A3s? To go to Michelle, there had to be an underlying problem. Even though high level, those were her concerns, what did they stem from? We developed root cause and analysis, which was also incorporated as a part of this A3 document.
So doing our A3s, we experienced one thing. Sir Michael in our training actually said, be careful not to skip over the problem and the root cause, because sometimes you'll be here and you'll want to go straight to it to try to solve it. But because me being in the process, I'm bad about trying to do that if I'm doing an A3 for something I know very well and how to do. But what I do is bring my outside person in, and they actually do not allow me to skip that. Somebody who's not married to the process can come and say, hold on, you got to make sure you really know what your problems and your root causes are, because if you don't get the root cause, it will never get an end goal in. And so bringing somebody outside of it will help you keep in pace with the A3. Quickly, what do we see? What are the problems we find internally? And are they going to address what the issues that were called out for us? Now, we also came up with some action plans, and we assigned out who was going to do those and how often we were going to do them. And then, of course, confirming, is it working? And then making sure our process are standard going forward, so that if it did work, are we going to make sure to keep up that level of service? Current conditions, we actually had called out that the market director's assistant was due to AFLAC and didn't understand the processes. And because of that, it kind of helped us when we finally clicked that we need to give her the education that Sunitha was talking about. And so, with that being said, is we drew our action plan, put it down here, had our key learnings, but we didn't let it stop. We got it going and kept going. And one of the things that we called out in our plan that we were going to do every month was actually roll up how we finished each month.
We were outperforming
their expectation. Cool. Yeah. But this was the good thing. We were rolling up in this top chart here, which is just very simple. We would just copy and paste in, make it look a little nice. But we were giving them information every month of how they were doing, or how we were doing. And they were like, that's great. But one of the things that actually got out of this A3 was, why don't we give them this information before the month is out, how we're doing with these accounts that are important to them. Next thing we knew, every week, every month in week, we were actually emailing saying, we have this account, we're going to pay it. We don't have this, and it is your responsibility to get us what we need. By the time the end of the month was out, we didn't even hardly need to send this, because they knew we had either paid or we were waiting on something from them, but our actions were covered. And so through that, we, knock on wood, have not had an escalation to even myself in over 6 months, and
or
more.
Actually, it's about 9 months.
It's about 9 months.
We have not had an escalation at all.
Yes.
We haven't had a hint of a complaint
Yep.
at all. And everything that we're doing now is not reactive, it's proactive.
Even though it was our first one, was our most successful
Successful
we have
one.
seen. And we are definitely excited we've done more,
We have.
but this is the one that we've seen has made the most impact because it was one of our most important issues. And I appreciate all the coaching and the different things because we did bring some other people in to let them look at it. But the good thing is that it showed us that what we have to do is we look at the background, but we know now how to get ahead of things and not to be so reactive. So the A3 helped us to be able to say, how do we become proactive? And it was amazing. So it was one of the best things we've had.
Right, and so from that point, we have now been above sustainability.
Yep. So that's our A3 for our Puerto Rico Virgin Island Market Office, and we consider it a success.